And welcome back to this special edition of Inside Indiana Business, a quality of life town hall coming to you from the Ironworks Hotel Indy on the north side of Indianapolis. This broadcast powered by our partners at Your Indiana Pacers. We've been highlighting a number of these massive quality of life projects around the state. Now it's time to talk a little bit about why they are so important to Indiana and can they really be a key to attracting and keeping talent. For more, let's bring in a special insiders panel this week. GINOVUS Executive Managing Director Larry Gigerich, also TMAP LLC CEO Bill Oesterle, and CHEETAH Digital Senior Vice President of Global Human Resources, M.T. Ray. And welcome one and all.
Thank you.
To this edition of the Insiders. I'll start off by kind of teeing it up to ask each of you. Bill, I'll start with you, but just your assessment. We've talked a lot, and a lot is said about talent and how important it is, how critical it is, and Indiana needs to embrace initiatives to do more to get. What's your take on where things are from a talent perspective in Indiana right now?
Yeah, I think we're about to enter a period that's going to take a while where we are just going to be under tremendous pressure to bring talent in. The demographics tell us we're going to be short, and that's the first time we've had to deal with that in maybe 100 years. So these projects are going to be just critical in us attracting outside talent to the state.
Brings up a good point. MT, your take on that. You look at the numbers, you look at the demographics, and they don't necessarily paint a rosy picture.
No, I think we have to get creative on how we attract talent to Indiana. And I think these projects, like Bill mentioned, are going to do that. I mean, we need to show that this is a place you can live and work and play and have opportunities for a career. And I think that will help bring people here when they see what a great place it is to live. Yeah, Larry,
your take, you're dealing with this not only in Indiana, but in areas around the country where you work on projects. Your take on the talent.
Yeah, absolutely. We've got to grow faster than we have been over time. And I think part of that is growing faster and growing smarter. I mean, Bill's company is doing some great work right now looking at those people that are persuadable who would be targets to come back to Indiana. That's very important, but we also need to attract that talent that's at a well-educated level. And that's why those quality of place investments are so important, because they pick where they want to live first and figure out the job second in many cases.
And Larry mentioned your efforts, Bill, and how important in your view is it to be, everybody wants to go after talent, but to be strategic?
This is a targeted marketing exercise, not a mass marketing exercise. We're at the point where we can identify the people that we want to get and deliver specific messaging to them, tailored to them. And if we do that, we'll be the only state in the country that is actually out executing that kind of plan.
So be very strategic. MT, your company, CHEETAH Digital, is in growth mode. We had you on the show a few weeks ago, tripling your head count. So you're in the midst of this. How are you finding the market out there?
Every day. It's hard. I mean, we are competing for talent every day. So you have to be creative, as I said. You have to differentiate yourselves. You have to come up with your employment brand and what makes someone want to join you. Because they have multiple offers from different companies, small and big.
Is there anything you'd like to see, the state, local municipalities do in terms of initiatives or things to help the situation?
Yeah, I mean, I think we do a great job with our entry-level talent, with the different programs we have in place at the universities. But I think there's a lot of transitioning workers out there that we could retrain and offer programs to help them, be trained up to take some of these open positions. And I think we have to do a better job branding ourselves as a state to attract talent. Those boomerangs, those ones that Larry was talking about, those that leave, how do you get them back? And what a great place to live. It's affordable. We have all these great programs happening. How do we target them and go after them?
Yeah. Larry, was in some respects, the Amazon decision to put a logistics center in Nashville, 5,000 jobs, big investment, $200+ million. Was that kind of a wake-up call maybe for Indianapolis?
I think clearly it was the one that hit home the closest. As a lot of people said, if you pick Washington, New York, no one's going to get fired over that decision, right? Because of the size of those markets. Yeah. But Nashville's one where compares to us in many, many ways. Big difference is they are growing their population faster, about double what we are here, and it's at a much, much higher level from a quality standpoint. And finally, it's a broader area too. It's not just people from Tennessee or contiguous states, it's across the country. And that was one of the things that Amazon recognized.
What does Indiana need to do to kind of get to that whole issue?
Well, I think part of it is doing big, bold things. As MT alluded to earlier, it's important that we have bold talent initiatives. And again, not just to point to Tennessee, but one of the things Governor Haslam did there a few years ago, about 5 years ago, was create the Tennessee Promise Program. Big, bold program around talent development at all levels. And I think looking at those types of opportunities, the Next Level Jobs program that Governor Holcomb has started is a start, but we've got a lot more to do to build on that.
Mm-hmm. Bill, your take on these big, I've heard others besides Larry talk about that, big aspirational projects that Indianapolis and the state more broadly should maybe pursue to get at this issue.
Yeah, I think obviously big projects carry risks. So, we have to be prudent about this. But it's going to be required. Again, the demographics here are just very frightening. The state's population is stagnating, and we have to address that head on. We're going to have to go out and recruit, and we're going to have to do that collectively and collaboratively. That's a big project. And I think it's one that is absolutely required.
Mitch Daniels at Purdue recently announced I can't remember the name of it now, but a brain gain initiative, basically to go out after those Purdue grads who are out around the country and bring them back home.
Indiana's 18th in the country in the production of college degrees. That is a huge asset to us. That's better than Tennessee, better than that. What we have to do is harvest that, though. We're 42nd in the country in degrees held. So that's a pool that's out there across not just the country, but the world. And we can go find them, and we can attempt to bring them back. And furthermore, we can message to them while they're in school, which we haven't done very well historically. So I think we can change it.
We do have a question from the studio audience.
Please give us an example, each of you, of something that you're doing in your companies right now to attract the talent, and then once it's attracted, what are you doing to retain those people?
We host events at our office at CHEETAH here downtown, where we invite people in, we talk about the company, host them, have them understand our job openings, see our space. So that's one thing, just to stay connected in the local downtown Indy market. From a retention standpoint, I mean, it's the culture you build and how you engage your people. So we're always very, aware of making sure we're treating them well and they have opportunities for development.
Yeah, we try to take a community-based approach to our employees. We expose them to other companies. We participate in programs where they have peers that are at their point in their professional development. We want them to develop deep roots in the place, not just our company. Inevitably, we find that causes them to have deeper roots with us, too, because we provide those opportunities.
Anything to be said about smaller rural communities that are certainly losing population, losing companies and jobs that as they look at this whole daunting equation?
There's some interesting stories around the state. Vincennes, some things that have happened in Vincennes and downtown and reinvestment. Wabash has an incredible downtown and entrepreneurial environment. And there's some things going on now through the Stellar Communities program that the state of Indiana and the Office of Community and Rural Affairs runs in Rushville. Some really neat things that are being looked at in downtown there. It's more challenging, but I think the bottom line is whether you're a small area or a big area, you have to invest in yourself. And quality of place investments are a big part of that.
Yep. Well, it's a big issue for Indiana and many other states around the country. Thanks for some great perspective, Larry Gigerich, MT Ray, Bill Oesterle. Thanks for joining us, and I'll be right back after this. Stay with us.